Wrap the wire around the battery 7 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You should have 2 3-inch tails when you're done. Carefully slide the battery out, the coil of wire off of the battery, set the battery aside, and then wrap the tails around the coil so that the tails stick out from each other at 180 degrees. When you hold onto the tails close to the coil, you should be able to spin the coil and see only one circle. If you don't see only one circle, that's because the tails are not coming out directly across from each other. One might be higher, so it might be up here somewhere, as opposed to the other one, but that's the way you want it to look. Sand one of the tails on top only. So I'm going to sand this surface here, and this surface here will remain with the green enamel insulation. Take and put your coil, your tail, on a cutting board. Take a piece of sandpaper, press down close to the coil, and pull. And this is going to stretch the wire out, and that's okay. And do that 3 or 4 times, or as many times as you need to, until you get bare wire. So when you're done, you want it to look like that. And notice this little bit of green still right in this area right here. We'll talk about how to get rid of that later. On the other tail, you're going to sand all of the insulation off. So you want completely bare wire all the way around. When you're done sanding, you're probably going to need to re-wrap the tails around the coil because maybe you've stretched out the coil and stretched out the wire. But you'll notice there's a little bit of green down here on the tail that has insulation just off the top. Just take that and wrap it around another time. Again, you want to have one tail that has bare wire just on the top, what I call the top, that's the surface. And this surface underneath here should be green, and you can see that it is. You'll also notice that on this tail I have green close to the coil, so I'm just going to take and I'm going to wrap that tail around a little bit extra. So now I've got bare copper wire all the way around. Okay, and then again, check to make sure that your coil is round. And then if you grab the tail right by the coil, you should see one circle. I can see 2 here, but it's pretty close, and that should still work. There we go. That's perfect. You know why? That's right, because I did it. The next step will be unfolding the paper clips. Simply take them and bend them like that. You don't need to do anything else, just bend both the paper clips like shown right here. Then take and wrap the rubber band twice around the length of the battery, like so. And I like sticking the large end of the paper clip and putting that part underneath the rubber band and onto the battery. So something like that on the positive end of the battery. And do the same thing on the negative end. Take the largest part of the paper clip and stick it in underneath. Like that. Okay. And you'll notice that the opening of the paper clip is at the same. end, so it's on top here. Then you're going to take your magnet, put your magnet right in between the paper clips, so it looks something like that. Make sure your paper clips are even. And then take your coil of wire, place it onto the paper clips, and there's the world's simplest DC motor. And that's how it works. And that works really, really well. You know why, right? That's right, because I did it. Now you go ahead and do just as great a job. I know you can.